Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome to Trending Tonight, the only show on primetime television where we care to explain the news behind the trend. Now, we have seen that there is a WhatsApp war that has broken out. There is leak versus leak, WhatsApp versus WhatsApp, chat for a chat that is going on as far as the Rhea SSR case is concerned. So let's try to decode this. This is the war of the WhatsApp chats. How exactly should this be comprehended? There's a new twist to the SSR death mystery. The did not know about SSR's illness claim. Has that been busted? Should that be our assumption? Leaked chats actually now show sister knew that Sushant took medication against the earlier claims that they did not know. But here is a caution. Caution. These chats are subject to investigations. Those investigations are still on. A court is going to pronounce people guilty or innocent, not the media, not the lawyers. SSR sister's claim is that Rhea hid the truth, but is it really the fact? Is this WhatsApp whataboutery, or is this really the complete picture? And here on NDTV, we are going to get you the complete picture. All sides and equal representation is going to take place only on NDTV, where we will have lawyers representing both the sides. We'll have Mr. Satish Manishinde, who's the counsel for Rhea Chakrabarti, and Varun Singh, who's the advocate for Sushant's family. So both of them are going to join us one after the other. And our first exclusive guest, Mr. Satish Manishinde, is now with us. Mr. Manishinde, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. My first question to you, sir, how seriously or with what amount of veracity should one read these leaked messages, these leaked WhatsApp messages? Because see, up until a few days ago, this was being termed as a witch hunt. The same leaked messages were being termed as a witch hunt against Rhea. Now there are leaked messages which seem to give Rhea the edge. At the end of the day, these are leaked messages which should have ideally stayed with the investigators.
See, first of all, I must ask you a question.
Sure, sir.
Where is my friend Mr. Vikas Singh? He used to be on the TV every night, and I'm missing him today on the day I have come on your TV. Be that as it may, I must say that I am not the author of these leaks, nor is Rhea. Rhea is before the CBI. None of these messages which are leaked and which are being attributed to say that they are going to help Rhea have been leaked by her, and because these messages are sent by his Sushant's sister Priyanka to Sushant, and these could be only in the custody of Priyanka or on the phone of Sushant. And as far as I know, Sushant's personal belongings, including telephone and other electronic gadgets, were seized by the Mumbai police, and they are in the custody of CBI now. So I don't know from where it has leaked, but I wouldn't venture to think as to from where it has leaked, because various details of my client's CDR, even though it is in the possession of CBI as of now, in a sealed packet, are being released even today in the media. And I have written a short note to the CBI officer investigating the case to look into and get to the bottom of it and bring the guilty to book. So I can't really say from where the leak is, but I'm not certain from where it is leaking.
So you're saying you're not the author of the leaks. I never questioned you on that also. My point is, Mr. Manishinde, that whenever there is a leak, there is a person who is, of course, these leaks are engineered to paint one person as the villain and the other person as the victim, right? So if this was the engineering, say up until day before yesterday, now it is the other way around. It seems to be benefiting your client, this leak right now.
See, my client has been made a villain right from the first day, so there is nothing new about the leakage of messages as far as my client is concerned. In fact, her entire CDR has been leaked to such an extent that all her friends, all her contacts, including family members and girls who are close to her, have been attacked and trolled on the social media. So I really can't tell you from where the leak could be, but it's possible that till day before yesterday, the truth was not out. The truth was that the family of Sushant Singh knew right from 2013 that Sushant was under medication. Sushant was visiting a doctor called Dr. Harish Shetty. Thereafter, he has contacted 5 doctors. This is also in the knowledge of the family members, because there was some messages which leaked probably from the phone of Shruti or one of the sisters, that the sister was inquiring about the medication of Sushant in November 2019. So it's very unfortunate that people who have been leaking it and people who have been portraying it on the TV screens every day, day in and day out, have no regard for the truth. The truth, I said through my client on the first day when she came in the media, that I respect the judiciary, I respect the investigating agencies, I respect the CBI, let the investigations proceed, let the truth come out, Satyameva Jayate. That was a short sentence. Thereafter, she said nothing, and it's only when it went out of control that she came on the media through 2 or 3 channels and spoke her heart out before she was being questioned by the CBI. So I really don't know where this is going to end, but this media trial should stop.
And would you advise that the media trial must stop on both sides? Because now, of course, the allegation will be that perhaps Rhea has started her own version of a media trial. I'm only talking about allegations. I'm sure you must have heard or seen representations on other media platforms where they say that you're choosing cozy platforms, right? And that's why I want to ask some of those questions that they feel, so that nobody feels that Mr. Satish Manishinde has a cozy platform. I'm sure even you don't want a cozy platform, Mr. Manishinde. My question to you is that these leaks, what legal sanctity do they have? Yeah, you want to say something, Satish ji?
I can face any channel, any platform, because I've been doing it for the last 37 years. And these boys who have now come and tried to conquer the media trial that is happening today are quite new to this field. And you know that when TV first time came into India, there was only Mr. Roy of NDTV and ZTV, and there was nobody else, and there used to be only 2 programs on cases that was happening. So I can handle any of these guys, but if I choose to go on a few channels that I have gone and not gone to them, because those channels have already made up their mind to castigate my client. And if my client instructs me not to go to the channels, I would as a lawyer adhere to the instructions of my client, not to speak to any of those gentlemen who, if I may call so, it's my choice and it's my client's choice where I go and where I speak.
Sure, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, Mr. Manishinde, these leaked WhatsApp chats, very quickly, I want to touch upon this again. What's the legal sanctity of these leaked conversations? I mean, is a WhatsApp conversation admissible in court in its present form?
See, first of all, any electronic message, any message which is sent, which is subject to the IT Act, there has been an amendment after the IT Act came into force in the Indian Evidence Act, that even electronic messages can be relied upon in a court of law to prove a particular fact or a case. So these electronic messages, as long as they are proved to have been sent from a particular phone or a particular computer or a particular station, can be proved in a court of law, only then the court will accept them as legally admissible evidence. These leaked WhatsApp messages and other electronic messages, if at all they come from any illegal source, they cannot be proved in a court of law. What is necessary is only that evidence, particularly in this case, if it is coming through the CBI, through its investigations, after they download the entire phones and bring all the evidence before the court, if it can be traced to those telephones or if those electronic medium, then those messages can be proved. And WhatsApp messages can be proved in a court of law because the court is accepting even a WhatsApp service of a summons, WhatsApp service of pleadings.
Sure.
So it's totally admissible.
No, but then this will be the claim of the other side also, because so far the screenshots that have come which show Rhea allegedly in a conversation with a person talking about drugs. Now, if that they are able to prove in court, then even that will be admissible by this very same logic. So then you claim that this is not the truth.
I don't know. I don't know of any side other than the investigating agency. If the CBI provides that evidence in a court of law and proves a particular fact, I will challenge it. If I have to challenge it, if I have to accept it, I'll readily, as an officer of the court, accept it on behalf of my client. Similarly, if the NCB or the ED produces a legally admissible document in the form of a chat or electronic message, it can be proved. So my side that I have to face is only the prosecution.
Sure.
And if anybody wants to assist the prosecution, they can go and lay their evidence before the prosecution, and the CBI, ED or any other authority will produce that in the court of law if it is legally admissible.
Okay, very quickly, Mr. Manshinde, before I let you go, two questions, and you know, this has gotten really murky, this entire saga. So there are a lot of theories that are floating, and I want to ask you, your wisdom as a counsel for your client, for Rhea Chakravarti. Number one, a conspiracy theory, right? And the conspiracy theory is that there is a whole thing about insurance money, that only if this matter is proven to be a case of abetment to suicide will the claimants get the insurance, life insurance money of Sushant Singh Rajput. And that is why a case of suicide is being converted into a case of abetment to suicide. Where do you stand on this issue? Or do you think it's premature?
Well, first of all, whatever conspiracies are being portrayed, they must be proven in a court of law. Only after that I can react. But as far as the insurance amount is concerned, I do not know if Sushant had a insurance policy. I do not know who the nominees are. I do not know if at all there is one existing. And even if there is one existing, I must tell you that an insurance company would not provide a claim to a person who claims through the insurance policy unless it is proven that it is anything other than suicide. So therefore, these theories are floating. This was one of the questions that I read yesterday in the media through one of your sister concerns, and therefore this idea has come into public limelight now. Why did the family, without any evidence of murder, allege that it is a case of murder? It is obvious. It's obvious. In fact, even the postmortem report, which now they doubt, it's unfortunate that 5 doctors of a reputed hospital in Bombay conducted it. In fact, even the legal status of Cooper Hospital is being challenged on the ground that is one of the third-rate hospitals. A respected lawyer who comes on the TV on behalf of the family has repeatedly said that Cooper Hospital, why was the body taken to Cooper Hospital? One should realize, particularly practicing criminal law in the city of Mumbai and elsewhere, that in every district or in every taluka, there is a coroner's court which is supposed to issue a death certificate after a postmortem is conducted. And each hospital in a particular area is nominated to have a coroner's court. In the south city of Mumbai, we have the JJ Hospital. In the western suburbs, we have Cooper Hospital. In the central suburbs, we have Sion Hospital, which is a reputed hospital. Similarly, in Ghatkopar, there is a particular hospital. Even in Borivali, which is another part of Mumbai, there is a separate hospital which are designated to have coroner's court. There is a magistrate sitting in this court. It's only when a certificate is issued by the magistrate of the coroner's court that a body is handed over to the relatives of the victim. So all kinds of doubts are being raised. You know, I kept quiet the last 75 days thinking that some sense will prevail upon these gentlemen who come and comment on the TV. But there is no end to it. You know, my client has suffered because of these unwanted allegations, wanton allegations being made time and again. You know, to question a hospital which everybody in Bombay knows is a coroner's hospital. It can't be taken to any other hospital. And
I
it's
get
the
the point that
decision
you're trying to make.
of a superior officer who takes this.
Right. Mr. Satish Manshinde,
Why
thank
are
you so much.
questions being raised? Don't they have anything better to do in life? Don't they have any other work to do in life? Is it the way to question an investigation?
Satish Manshinde,
And they're
thank you.
questioning the entire force. Entire Bombay police was castigated. Now if any other authority gives a clean sheet to my client or does not, you know, go according to their whims and fancies, are they going to keep castigating everybody? There's a limit to it. Hold your horses till the investigations are complete.
Hold your horses is the advice that comes in from Satish Manshinde. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. The counsel for Rhea Chakravarti on NDTV, his advice is hold your horses to all those people who are castigating her client, who are asking all sorts of questions, what he claims is baseless. Let's now go across to Varun Singh. As we said, representation is there on both sides, arguments on both sides. Varun Singh, thank you so much. You heard what Mr. Manshinde had to say over there. First of all, I would like to give you a right to reply. He inquired about your father, by the way.
Yes. I mean, we're both counsels for the family, and it's been recorded and it's been floated in the social media as well. So I don't see any reason why he should be doubting it, as long as he's getting a representation or getting a response. Even though there's no certain need as such, because we are obviously talking to a well-reputed channel and we're not in a court of law, that he should feel disappointed. If at all there would be any need in court of law, he should be rest assured that he would get to see him more often. In fact, on that very note, I just thought, in terms of what he said, two things which came quite evident from what he's made out is that fact that he feels quite saddened by the manner in which the case has moved, and his client has been tarnished, in images has been tarnished. I don't need to, of course, give any kind of guidance, but we all are aware that such kind of media trials could be easily stopped if the lawyers were to proceed in that manner. In fact, not just media trial, what stands even more interesting is that if I today, Sanket, if you and I, and if we are absolutely innocent, and there is a case been made out against me, then the first thing I would do is go to a court of law to suggest that, this case should not be made out against me, rather than asking for a transfer or making accusations against the family. Of the LIC issue as well. He first part of his statement was to suggest that he is not aware at all of who the nominee is, who the beneficiary is, and then he goes on to allege that the family may get benefit out of it. So according to me, that itself kind of proves that this is not the most responsible statement, and it is without verification of any fact. And I don't think such kind of statements should, as he's himself has been advocating for such things, should not be made unless, because this is, the family which I'm defending is not an accused, and we're not guilty of anything. So to suggest such things out of the blue would of course could be very defamatory, and could also lead to serious consequences.
Varun, my next question is about these leaks, right? Because I find this deeply disturbing. Do you think that And leaks, by the way, by investigating agencies. And here you've had multiple investigating agencies. So the points of leakage are that many more. Imagine the number of people who have access to this evidence. Do you think that this is going to seriously damage the scope of his investigation in this case and convert this into a media trial? Look at the entry points for leakage.
See, I completely agree in the sense that there are two facets of this leakage. One part of the leakage is the fact that, as you've rightly pointed out, if there are so many leakages, this is actually giving an onus or giving that benefit to anyone who is part of this trial to make up their defense qua these leakages. Now, if there is a witness, if there is a document, everybody knows how to defend it based on what has already been circulating. So if at all, this is very, very damaging for the people who are seeking justice as well.
But that's exactly the allegation, Varun, which will be leveled against, I don't know, maybe directly or indirectly against you or your clients, that so far the leakages were appearing to benefit you. Now the latest leakage appears to be benefiting Rhea and her counsel. So you're both playing this game.
Yes. So let me straight away answer that question. What leakages? I don't see there is information which I am being given into any. I have so far. Please cut me if I'm wrong, but I am not aware so far that the family lawyer has been, or any of the lawyers have been accused of giving evidences which form part of investigation. We have so far have only defended the FIR in the Supreme Court to suggest why it was perfectly permissible to file it in Bihar and bring it here. So if at all, we have commented on those leakages, but we have not. Nobody today can make out a case that the lawyers. Secondly, for the family, it's not, as you've in your first part of the question itself indicated, that it could be. We don't know the sources, as Mr. Marshande was also stating, that the sources are completely unknown. It's not so. If at all, these leakages which are being playing on public platforms, it is for the public platform to either verify or give out information. Like, for example, today, if you were to discuss today something about the leakage, then it is incumbent upon you, if at all, to say whether it's where it's coming from or where it's not coming from. However, having said that, as he's rightly pointed out, it is subject matter of trial. Section 65B of Evidence Act clearly sets out that it is only a secondary evidence, and it has to be proven. If it's reformatted or it is tampered with, then of course it has no relevance, and that will definitely hamper my case more. Let me say this: whatever has been stated in the public domain, which is beneficial for my client, is actually going to harm me more for the specific reason that today the accused who in these cases can prepare better, because of the fact that these evidences are, and the witnesses can be compromised, the evidence can be compromised, everything can be compromised, because nobody is arrested today. To tamper evidence is absolutely possible. And what are we looking at? And I think, I heard a very senior counsel also arguing or putting this investigative part of media before public platform, and he said that this is another second aspect which you must appreciate, that this Honorable Supreme Court has said in the first 60 days of this case, there was no investigation. If at all, the Mumbai police was only looking at what an inquest, which is only to certify the death.
Correct.
So in those circumstances, if the media is assisting in the sense that it is bringing out something which is going to make out a case for a cognizable offense, then that should have been taken note of. So in that circumstances, to say that part is also when there was no case pending, then of course that was something for the public eye, and in fact for the investigative authorities to take note of, to kind of make up their mind. But all that which has been suggested so far in the first 60 days was that everything was being tampered.
All leaks that are taking place, you make a very, very important point, Varun, that obviously this will give a lot of time for people to prepare their defense, to prepare their arguments, to manage witnesses. I don't know. I mean, the sky is the limit as far as how dirty this thing can actually be. But thank you so much, Varun, for joining us with your viewpoint. And I actually feel that the more you see these leaks, these WhatsApps coming out, fine, it's legally admissible. It can be admissible in court. Of course, it will have to be forensically proven. But the point is, for it to appear first in the public domain is doing more harm to this case than good. And to that point, Varun, I absolutely agree with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Equal representation, a logical discussion, not a shouting match, and certainly not a media trial, right here on NDTV whenever we will choose to highlight any aspect of the Rhea SSR story. It's a wrap in this edition of Trending Tonight. News continues on the other side. Good night.